Welcome to Intimacy Evolution with Brianna and Mark Carey, where they discuss desire, intimacy, and how to embrace the changes within your relationship. Brianna has been a sexual health educator for 14 years and is currently working as a relationship and intimacy coach. Mark is a licensed professional counselor and has been running his own private practice for 6 years. Together, they have 2 young kids and have dealt with the many ebbs and flows during their 15 years together. Intimacy evolves over time, and that's okay. Let's talk about it. Not them.
We are ourselves.
But sometimes not. You are
Sometimes.
not. Oh, we're both recording. I see. Okay. Yeah. Well, hello.
Hi.
Welcome back to another episode of Intimacy Evolution. I'm Brianna.
I'm Mark.
And we are going to be talking about spontaneous versus scheduled sex and intimacy.
Well, yes, that is the topic, and
I read it straight from the notes.
It's an important. The spontaneous is of course sexy. The scheduled is viewed as less sexy, but so we got a little bit of both here today.
Yeah. So again, let's chat about what is intimacy. That is the connection that is created, a feeling of being close, as well as emotionally connected and supported. Mm-hmm. Being able to share a whole range of thoughts, feelings, experiences that we have as human beings. And a variety of research has been done and found that the lack of intimacy is one of the leading causes of separation and divorces.
Yeah, and where my mind went there is it's not just the romantic relationships, children and friends and deepening all those connections. But that's not what we're here for today. But it just, when you were saying that, it just made me think of all that.
Yeah, and it kind of just spurs the thought of, to piggyback off that is how we've been more intentional within our friendship circles of, getting together, and then before we even part ways. There we go. Part ways, we say, let's break out our calendars and see when we can get together next time. So being very intentional about the time you are spending with those that you want to spend time with. Otherwise it is like, wow, it's been 6 months. Why has it been so long since we've seen each other? Well, we didn't plan, and life does get busy.
Well, I mean, and there's a joke that adult friends, if you don't schedule before you leave the presence of each other, you're already behind several months in scheduling because everyone's so busy, kids and all this other stuff. That does bring us kind of into the topic of, sex can be, or intimacy can be very much the same thing. Mm-hmm. If you don't schedule it or make priority or put it on a calendar. Mm-hmm. It often can be like, hey, when's the last time we've done something together?
Yeah. We've ran into that a few times over the years, for sure.
Oh, yeah.
It's easy to get kind of lost in the, mundane of life, So how do you even begin doing that? Maybe you're finding yourself at this disconnect, and it's not... maybe it's not a super hindrance at this point. You're like, okay, yeah. I'm noticing that this is starting to become a thing. How can we be proactive about it?
Yeah. It's not, quote unquote bad.
Right.
Which is, I tend to be picky on words, linguistics and everything else. So I shudder at the idea of something the word bad.
Did I say bad?
No.
Oh, okay.
No,
I'm like, now you've got me questioning myself. I'm like, I'm pretty conscientious of my verbiage too. So
No. I just it's stuff I run into every day at my work or just out and about, and what's functional for one person and might not be functional for another, and what's dysfunctional, same thing, and so
it's figuring out what the commonalities are or how to bridge that gap of, what each are wanting. And so let's talk about spontaneous sex or intimacy first. That's the one that a lot of people think needs to happen. That's how you know you're in a good relationship, quote unquote, good relationship,
There
right?
Yeah.
You guys are, hot for each other, and just can't wait to take each other's clothes off as soon as you see each other. And I blame movies
Yeah.
for a lot of that, society telling us that that's how you show your attraction and affection to somebody. But that's not the case.
The societal norm that's like the in the hierarchy of sex, that's like the top tier. It's like spontaneous. Well, I mean, people do report that they want more spontaneous sex. It's a desire.
It's fun, adventurous, almost like fantasy kind of stuff.
Yeah, it can be, but it can also be crunchy and I'm not ready. And
yeah, one partner's like raring to go, and the other is like, I'm doing laundry.
or any other
thing. Or just maybe, they're not feeling it. They had stress at work that they're thinking about, or there could be a variety of other things that they're just not compatible in that moment. And so I know that you had mentioned before we started recording, the psychology behind it of excitedness versus anxiousness, and how that's a fine line.
Yeah, there's a very fine line. If you think about, like, if you go into your body, right, and you think about, I always use with my clients a roller coaster analogy. So if you love roller coasters, you see a roller coaster, your heart starts pounding, your breathing changes, it's more shallow. You feel it in your stomach. We call this excitement. If you're deathly afraid of roller coasters and you see one in the distance, your heart starts pounding. You get shortness of breath. You get
lightheaded, nauseous.
You also get, feelings in your stomach and all that stuff, and we call that anxiousness. And so
the perception.
There's a very fine line between those things. And so spontaneous sex can be anxiety provoking.
So where it could be exciting for one partner, it's very anxiety provoking for the other. And we don't want that either. How do we overcome that?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Of course, the thing we always come back to is communication. Like, we have to talk about what spontaneous sex looks like.
Yeah.
And
can we plan the spontaneity?
Well, I mean, there's some general ideas, like, somebody just gets off the toilet. I don't think they want spontaneous sex. Yes, I went there.
Okay.
That was the only thing I could think of at the moment.
Keep going. Keep going.
So, I mean, there's a conversation about the general idea of what it looks like and what you prefer, all the typical stuff. I mean, there is some level of communication that can help with that spontaneous sex. I would say, both are, for me personally, I love both. And they have benefits, right? And one that we probably don't talk about enough is spontaneous sex often starts with the person who doesn't typically pursue. The more common follower. So in a stereotypical relationship, or you could use our relationship, I tend to be this, pursuing you.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so a lot of times spontaneous is you take that,
taking the lead.
Take the lead on that.
Almost a sense of empowering the other partner to initiate that.
Yeah.
So again, communicating how that could look, knowing each other's 5 love languages or the erotic blueprint to kind of incorporate into that spontaneity, letting that other one know that you are indeed like trying to put the moves on him, so to speak, you know?
Well, yeah. And I'll give you credit, like whenever it's that way, you come in with amount of energy, queen, badass, like boss ass bitch, like energy, and it's hot. And so
You pick up on that energy pretty quickly.
Oh, yes. I know when you walk in the room like that. It's noticeable.
Okay.
She says, enough about me. Back to the topic.
So, but thank you. I'm glad that it, and it took a long time for me to feel comfortable in doing that. It's a little emotional. We've talked a lot about this personally in our lives, and this kind of the journey that we're on that has brought us to me being a sex coach and doing the podcast. And why we're doing all this is finding that kind of what have I been calling this? My oh my gosh, it's like gone from me now. Basically getting in touch with myself sexually, sensually, and tapping into that. We have a little person tapping on our door. Okay, so we had a tiny human interrupt our...
We're in the flow and everything.
It's okay. But it did help me remember what I was trying to say. A sexual reawakening, basically, like understanding my body, understanding my wants and desires, and how to communicate that to you as well. Which, we're not taught this stuff. We're not taught basic sex ed, and don't get me on my soapbox today.
Yeah. Don't do it.
For another time. We're not taught that, let alone how to actually communicate to a partner and how to understand your body. And so, yeah, we've just been through this together. After having 2 kids, your body changes. The relationship changes a little bit. How do you navigate that? There's some crunchy parts that come up, here and there. And so, yeah, thank you for noticing and acknowledging, because that definitely took some work, some personal growth development. And I am so grateful to everything I've learned with Sex and Love Co., to the retreat that we went to in April with them, where we got to learn more about archetypes and embodiment and embracing that. And yeah, I cannot wait to touch on that more for our audience so they can start playing with that energy as well.
Definitely. Well, speaking of body, that going into your body is often where intimacy starts. For me to be vulnerable and intimate with someone, I have to know what's going on inside of myself and how I feel, and thoughts, feelings, and I mean like physical feelings as well. In order to I have to have a deep connection with myself, essentially, before I can have a deep connection with someone else.
Yeah.
And so
there's no fake in that.
No. Yeah, because it is fake. If you're not, feeling that. And I think that's where one of the things that we've focused on more recently is and it goes along with what you're saying about your own personal work, and
and you as well. I think to switch that up a little bit, what you are able to take away from the retreat experience you've talked about, embracing the vulnerability, being able to show up more vulnerably with more vulnerable. Anyways, we're not doing that word anymore.
Quit it.
So, yeah, share about that and how that ties into, showing up.
I think, I mean, we could go on and on about society and men and all of that, and like what vulnerability looks like for men, and what relationships with other men are supposed to look like. But, really expressing, and we did it the other night we left a friend's house, and I, just because we were talking about other friends or the friends we were with, I start sending love messages to all my friends of like, hey, I miss you, can't wait to see you, I love you, and just giving love out to them, and of course it feels so great because they give it right.
Yeah. And I think that's just so important for everybody to start embracing that and knowing it's okay to be vulnerable. Yeah. So yeah, talking about the body some more and how you have to be connected to your body to be present in the moment. One thing that I would talk about when I would do parties and stuff is that phrase, if you don't use it, you lose it.
Yeah.
And that is unfortunately very true when you start neglecting certain things. Like if you stop having sex, your body starts to forget how enjoyable that is.
Yeah.
And it does not think about it or crave it any longer.
Those neurons, they when they're not used, they're less likely to fire. It takes a lot more potential and coaxing to get those to fire off the same way. Just like, we can train ourselves to have more pleasure through conversation or through just sensual touch or sexually as well, by really creating more neural connections and utilizing them.
So again, you just have to have body awareness. And then you're going to be able to respond more authentically to your desires, and this ties into why scheduled sex is so important. When you have those moments of a gap between sex and intimacy being together, when you have that, you have to put some more work into it to start reminding your brain that you actually do enjoy, so when you schedule it, our Zoe has been, I don't know, she's in here with us and apparently needs some loves. Kids, dogs, this is life. And this is what can make, being intimate difficult. You have interruptions and you have to be able to go with the flow sometimes. So I hope you're enjoying this. But yeah, so having a scheduled time where you and your partner get to connect. And if it has been a while, again, maybe there's been an illness, maybe a deployment, maybe, traveling for work or a baby or a plethora of other things. It's been a little while since you've been together. How do we even do that? It's going to be awkward. And that's okay. It will be a little awkward at first. But one game that we have learned about is called the 3-minute touch game. It brings you into your body. It empowers you to communicate what you want. And your partner hears you and does that thing that you want.
Yeah.
So enforcing the communication is healthy and, expand on that.
Yeah. So my mind goes to the other day. We were talking about kids and our son. He was. I think you were frustrated about something.
We were playing a video game,
and so he consoled you, and we
by placing his hand on my arm, and he's like, "It's okay, mommy." And I was like, "Oh, well, thanks, bud. I'm good."
But that, if you stop and think about it, he's showing us how he wants to be treated when he's frustrated.
Right.
He might not be verbalizing it. In this game, we're trying to verbalize it, but Oftentimes people are going to tell us what they need. We just might completely miss it. And
yeah, because it's not how we
Yep.
would communicate
exactly.
it. Again, 5 love languages.
So in the touch game, we're requiring ourselves and our partners to communicate directly how they want to be touched and how they want to touch you. So both people are, give and both people receive, and it's it's very enjoyable.
So how do you initiate this? So, again, you're going to schedule it, set time aside. Maybe don't watch that extra Netflix show.
Look in the mirror. Somebody's talking about herself.
Listen, Uhtred of Bebbanburg has my attention right now. So any Viking, Last Kingdom fans out there, you understand. So, you're going to take this time, you're going to schedule it, and you're going to face each other and connect. So sit down, cross-legged, facing each other, look into each other's eyes, take some deep breaths with each other. If you want to put some like light music, meditation music or anything like that, if that having that background noise helps a little bit, you might laugh and, again, it is going to be awkward at first, but just do it. So you're going to sit there and one partner is going to start and ask, how would you like me to touch you? How would you like me to touch you for 3 minutes? That other person's
I would
going to
say
sit
something
there.
to the effect of, scratch my back or some request, right?
And then I might ask some clarifying questions like, do you want me to scratch with my nails or just kind of lightly with the pads of my fingers?
I would respond and describe what I would want in that instant.
Light pressure, deeper pressure, all over the back, just so you can ask some questions. And when you guys are in agreement, you set the timer for 3 minutes and you do that touch that you agreed on.
And it feels wonderful.
Yeah. Yeah. Because you're receiving what you directly asked for.
So powerful.
Yeah. And then Zoe might not agree. I don't know. Then the next question is, how would you like to touch me? So.
And then, so you would ask me that.
So I would ask him, how would you like to touch me?
And I would say something to the effect, play with your hair. And then you might ask questions of what that means. Do you want me to take it down for you? Do you want me to do this? And then again, we agree upon it. And then we, for 3 minutes, do that.
And then you flip-flop. Yes. And so each person will get to ask and then also receive. So super powerful.
And connecting and intimate and sensual. But we're talking about this in a non-sexual way. I mean, I guess it could be played that way, but it can, that's not the idea.
That's a workup. You can work up to that. That's not the idea. This is to help you navigate those moments where you've been feeling disconnected and you're like, I recall one time, Mark's like, how would you like me to touch you? And I said, I just want you to hold me. I just want to sit in your lap and I just want to hug you and lay on your shoulder. It helps you just to connect to each other again.
And then don't do the thing that happens sometimes where you connect and then you go, you bring up a serious topic right afterwards because you feel connected. Like, oh, we need to really talk about this thing. No.
Enjoy. Sit in that for a little bit.
Schedule that conversation for a different time.
Exactly. And so, yeah, that's, again, how scheduled intimacy can be super helpful. So you're going to start to reconnect with each other, and then you're going to start noticing consistency. And another thing to talk about too is we talked about bridging the gap between the pursuer and the, other partner. I don't know if there's a technical term for the other leader follower. Yeah. One partner might have an ideal of intimacy or sex as 5 times a week. The other partner might be like maybe 1 time a week. You need to figure out what is a good compromise for both starting out, so that, again, there's not hurt feelings and, or one feeling like, oh, you're always pushing me to do this and I don't want to, or the other one's like, you always say no. This is going to help bridge that gap. So if it's not made a priority, it's going to be less enjoyable. We've talked about that. And having it scheduled, you kind of have like prolonged foreplay throughout the day too. You get to think about it. You get to, have positive thoughts. Don't allow yourself to go there and be like, ugh, I have to do this thing later. Get excited about it. Maybe you wear one of your favorite outfits that day. Maybe you put on your cologne and perfume. You feeling a little sassy. Send some flirty texts to each other throughout the day. And start, again, building that connection and that foreplay if you are agreed upon having sex that night. If you're just doing your connection activity, then, know what you're getting into.
I think that's, that's one of the reasons I like to know. I can do all the things up to it and think about it. And there is that level of foreplay. I think there's also a disclaimer we have to say is like, just because it's scheduled doesn't mean you have to have sex, of course. But the intention is for you to take control of yourself, to put you in the position to want to, yeah.
And again, communicating. Maybe you say like, hey, I know we were supposed to do this tonight. Today ended up being a shit day. Work was crazy, this and that, blah, blah, blah. Can we just have a connection night? Maybe can we just take a bath together? Yeah. And that's okay too. If you were planning on having sex and it doesn't actually happen, but you're communicating, you're still connecting and being intentional with your time together. That's what it's about. It's that time set aside together. And
I agree wholeheartedly. Just remember, when you start connecting, sex is more likely also. So,
laying that foundation. Yeah. And one thing that we have kind of come up with to help us with this, that kind of helps with the spontaneity, but also is scheduled, is our 3-2-1 date guide. And so we try to be very intentional, again, having young kids for the past 6 years.
That's so crazy when you say it that way.
Yeah, and we only have 2. It gets tougher. But, when they're younger, it's harder for them to go to a sitter or to be at grandma and grandpa's. And so start out with a time frame that works for you in your life. But about every 3 weeks, if you can have a date night every 3 weeks to connect, check in with each other, enjoy your time together, that's, again, helping to create that consistency. And then having a weekend getaway every 2 months. So you are not at your house. You can still be in your city. Maybe you're going to go stay at a hotel you've been hearing about, or, maybe you want to go just a couple hours away for the weekend. But try to do that every 2 months, because, again, just getting away from your normal everyday space helps you. And then you're also creating experiences together too.
Talk about bonding,
which is super impactful. And then if you're able, try to take a vacation every year together. Just the two of you, at least 5 days. So it's more than a weekend, right? You're taking a 5-day vacation or more to really just be with your person. Yeah. And so, again, you navigate that how it fits in your life, but 3-2-1 has been really effective and helpful for us.
Yes.
with the kiddos, especially when they were younger.
Sorry, I'm like, wow. I gotta say this. Our office is on the second story of our house. And I look outside and there was a frog on the screen of the window. Yes.
Get out.
No. It has now jumped or fallen to its death. I don't know what happened.
There's bushes below.
But
it's
yeah,
safe.
it was wild. So we're talking about really in-depth, like deep, connective things, and then a frog.
Frog on the window. I wonder what that represents. We had a copperhead come up to our boat today.
Allegedly copperhead.
It's been a day of
creatures all over.
Wild creatures, and I am done with it.
On that note.
So yeah, spontaneous sex versus scheduled sex. There's a time and place for both. You know, it's just about connecting with your partner and what the intention is behind that. And yeah, if you have more questions or would like more information on anything we talked about in this episode, you can reach out to us. We'll have some information in the show notes as well. But we'll see you next week.
We're going to go schedule time.
Take care. Thank you so much for tuning in. We hope you enjoyed the show. Make sure to hit that subscribe button so you never miss an episode, and we'll see you next week.